Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Mind Muscle Connection podcast. Today is a solo episode, and I have a topic I want to dive into, and that is 5 benefits of focusing on a body recomp over weight loss for your look and overall health. But first, before I dive into that, I just want to go over a few ways you can help support the podcast. So first, if you found this podcast to be helpful in any way, if you could leave a rating and review, and that will help more people find this podcast. And again, I want to continue to grow it, reach more people. That obviously I have to put out good content. Make sure you guys stick around. Some of it is also from word of mouth and things like that. Really appreciate that. Next, I have my free masterclass on body recomp, which I will probably talk about a few times throughout this topic today. But again, I go over basically everything you need to do in order to achieve a body recomp. And again, the link to that is in the show notes and it's completely free. I also have my free masterclass on nutrition periodization. And again, I go over each nutrition phase, how to set it up, what your macros need to be, how to make adjustments, common mistakes. And again, the link to that is in the show notes as well. Next, if you don't yet, give me a follow on Instagram, Jeff, and that's where I'm most active on social media. So with that out of the way, let's dive into today's topic. So again, 5 benefits of a body recomp, 5 benefits of focusing on a body recomp over weight loss for your look and overall health. I'm sure a lot of people have been trying to, you want to improve your look, you get into it, into fitness, nutrition. Okay, you need to lose weight. And while a lot of people could benefit from some weight loss, probably, I think it gets taken too far. And so if you're somebody who's been trying to drop weight for an extended period of time, and again, it doesn't work for you, or you've lost some weight, then you always gain it back, you lose weight, you're never satisfied with your look, then a body recomp is for you, okay? So again, we want to, if you fall under that category, this is going to be for you. So first of all, what is a body recomp? So it's losing fat, losing body fat and adding more muscle. I always talk about this. I have my 2 forms of body recomp. I have short-term, long-term. Short-term is that simultaneous fat loss and muscle gain at the same time. And then long-term body recomp is losing body fat and building muscle over time, right? We're probably having distinct periods where we focus on one specific thing while maintaining that other aspect of it, right? And then weight loss is just focused on seeing the scale go down at all costs. So you're not really worried about what the scale weight is made up of, and all your protocols are just you trying to see your scale weight go down. And they can lead to poor protocols. It can lead to poor health. Whereas with a body recomp, this really should improve your overall health because we're focused on what that weight is made up of. So in a body recomp, you're more focused on what your scale weight is made up of rather than just trying to see it go down. Again, we're like, okay, is it fat that we're losing? Is it muscle that we're losing? Is it muscle we're gaining? Is it fat we're gaining, etc. What you do in the process of dropping weight plays a massive role in your look and your health. So what you do in the process of dropping weight plays a massive role in your look, right? So again, if you're just dropping weight and your protocols are poor, that's gonna have a massive role in your look and your health as well, right? Again, if we're having these kind of protocols that are getting you to get weight off super quick, again, that may not be the best for your overall health. And a lower body weight does not automatically equal improved health or looks either. Just because you're going to be at a smaller body weight, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to improve your overall health. Now, if you are very overweight, dropping some weight is most likely going to improve your health. But if you're someone who's like moderate weight, maybe even on the lower side of things, and you just try to drop your scale weight, that isn't necessarily going to lead to an improved health there with that. And same thing, probably not from a look standpoint either, potentially depending on what you do in that process. But a lot of times when it is just focused on scale weight, it's usually not best from a body composition standpoint. What do I see happen when people focus strictly on dropping weight? One, you feel like crap in the process. You're less likely to stick with it because you feel like crap. If you don't feel good in the process, you're not going to want to continue to do it. And this is where a lot of times people they get this negative perception of dieting and that you need to feel terrible. And it's because of the things that they've done in the past, and probably have heard these things as well too from other people. And then you also hear of maybe like competitors dropping weight and not feeling great in the process because they're getting super shredded and things like that. And now people just think that, oh, that's how you need to feel. Now, in saying that, you're not going to feel your best when you're in a calorie deficit trying to drop some body fat, but you also shouldn't feel like just complete crap all the time. Okay. And again, when you don't feel good in the process, you're less likely to stick to it. You're like, this sucks. I don't feel good. I don't want to stick to this. I'm more likely to go off the plan. And because of that, you have a higher chance of weight rebound as well too, because now it's okay. Hey, I lost the weight I wanted. I felt terrible. I still feel terrible. Now what? You don't have a game plan to get back to it. And now you have a higher chance of rebounding on the way up here. Second, and this is one that, as you guys have listened to me, if you've listened to me for a while, I'm a huge proponent of this, and it's risk of muscle loss due to the methods that you do, right? And this is going to equal negative health outcomes, and again, higher risk of weight rebound. So when we lose muscle because of the methods, right? Again, we're just trying to get weight off as quick as possible. We're not really focused on protein. We're just maybe trying to cardio our way to fat loss. We're not focused on other aspects like sleep, stress management, and things like that. You risk muscle in the process, and that could increase your hunger on the way down. You're going to have a worse look. And one big issue is sarcopenia, which is the age-related muscle loss as you age, essentially. And this has a ton of negative health consequences, right? You're weaker, you're at a higher risk of falling, fracturing things in that process. And muscle is just, it's something that we need to maintain. And for most people, they need to add some muscle. And if we're always on this like weight loss journey, always trying to drop weight, and you have these methods that really just focus on getting it off as quick as possible, you're going to risk muscle loss. And then because of that, now say you lose some weight, but you lose muscle in the process, now you're also at a higher risk of weight rebound. And a lot of that weight is going to come via fat mass. So you see this all the time where people, they partake in these diets where they just try to lose as much weight as possible. They lose it. They lose some muscle in the process. Now they don't feel great. Now they gain weight back in the process, and it's all fat. So now they are at the same weight with more body fat and less muscle. Rinse and repeat, right? They rinse and repeat the cycle. And now this is where people just struggle to really change their body composition. They're like, man, I don't like the way this looks. I don't like the way that looks. I just feel my body composition is completely different. And this is the reason why. And one thing that I think another thing that may be like, that was just coming to mind as I was thinking about this, there's really no like rhyme or reason for this, but think of The Biggest Loser, right? Basically with that, what they did there is they just tried to exercise their way to weight loss and like super low calorie. And these people they more than likely lost muscle in that process. And again, that's just like a prime example there of that. And then 3, you never end up satisfied with your look due to losing muscle in the process. You did this to improve your look. That was the most important thing to you. And obviously you probably wanted to feel a little bit better. You probably wanted to decrease the potential health issues of being at a higher body weight, but now end up losing muscle in the process. And now you're never satisfied with your look. So you get in this like just endless fat loss diet. Like, I just need to lose a little bit more and then I'll be where I want to be. And then that never happens. So again, those are the main things that I see when people focus on dropping weight. And I think they're all super important, especially the feeling like crap in the process there. That doesn't set a good kind of relationship with diet and exercise, or nutrition and exercise. And it leads to this kind of super restrictive, like over pushing, just unhealthy relationship with exercise that I think gets a lot of people in trouble. So in a body recomp, we still pay attention to scale weight in most cases, right? I was having this conversation with a client. Yeah, I think it was yesterday. We use the scale weight to help us. It tells us what direction we're heading in, right? If you're seeing your weight trend up, it's telling us, hey, we're in probably a small surplus here. This could be good for building muscle. We want to be within this range where you don't add too much body fat in the process. If our weight's kind of maintaining over time, you're at energy balance. There's still a lot of good things that can happen if we're doing things like lifting weights, having a good diet quality, getting good sleep. There's still a lot of good things that can happen there. And then on the other side, if you're seeing your weight trend down over time, that is, you're in an energy deficit. And really all these things are going to lead to, hey, most likely if you're doing things right, that surplus is going to lead to some muscle growth, maybe a little bit of fat gain in the process. Unfortunately, we can't just have it be all muscle. Again, if it's in the middle, you're probably adding some muscle there, maybe losing a little bit of body fat, but at the very least, you're probably not adding you're not adding any body fat, which in turn is going to be helpful from a body composition standpoint. And then if your weight's trending down and you're eating enough protein, lifting weights, that's a sign that you're going to be dropping some body fat in that process. So the scale weight's the leading indicator of what's going on. And then the actual tissue change is that lagging indicator. So we do want to use the scale weight. Like, it is helpful to use the scale weight. It gives us definitely some idea of what's going on. But our metrics change from just a scale weight to, we're looking at how clothes fit. We're looking at circumference measurements. We're looking at progress pics. How do you feel during the process? We're looking at your biofeedback. Like, we got to make sure that you're not feeling like crap. We got to make sure that your digestion's in a solid spot. We want to make sure libido's still in a good spot. Like, these are things that we need to look at in the process, because if those are off, we need to change our protocol somewhere along the line. We're going to look at performance in the gym. Again, if your training's going really well, you're feeling strong, you're really pushing it, that's a good sign from a body composition standpoint. You're probably building some muscle. We also want to look at like health markers, right? So looking at some blood work, resting heart rate, right? Like, we want to make sure these are also in good spots as well too, because again, if you don't have your health, that's any body composition change is going to be short-lived, and it's just going to be a lot harder, right? So again, how clothes fit. If your clothes are fitting better, that's a great sign, right? So it's okay, maybe scale weight's not trending down like you want, but it's like your clothes are fitting better, circumference measurements are improving in the midsection, your progress pics are getting better. Look, does it really matter if you're not necessarily losing as much weight as you want, because like you are making change there with that. Again, these are all things that we need to also focus on in a body recomp. And I find that at the end of the day, there's something positive going on if you're working on your health and nutrition and training and whatnot, versus if you're just focused on the scale weight, that's not telling you everything, but all these things could be happening. Now you're like, oh, I need to eat less. I need to make this change. I need to do this. And now these things could potentially suffer because you're just focused on scale weight there. All right. So let's talk about the 5 benefits. Number one, benefit one, you're more likely to adhere to the plan. Depending on where you're at, your calories will either be at maintenance or in a small calorie deficit. This means you won't have to cut out a ton of food and be super restrictive with what you do, which equals better adherence to the plan, which is going to equal better results long term. I do want to say, though, don't confuse this with like easy. There is still going to be some challenges and sacrifice, and you're not going to feel absolutely amazing. And, oh, I don't have to do anything. Like, you're going to have to get uncomfortable, but you should feel a little bit better in the process. And because of that, you're going to be more likely to adhere to the plan. And at the end of the day, what you can adhere to is the most important. I think where people get themselves stuck is they try this. Oh, hey, I heard this diet's awesome. I heard that diet's awesome. And then they try it and they don't feel great. It's super restrictive. It doesn't fit their lifestyle whatsoever. And then they just can't adhere to it. We need to find something that is obviously going to get you uncomfortable. It is going to challenge you, but we have to be able to adhere to what we're doing, because it doesn't matter what you do. You could do keto, you could do carnivore, you could do vegetarian, vegan, whatever. But if you can't stick with it, it's like, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to do anything at that point. There's no magic to it there with that. So again, you're more likely to adhere to the plan, which again is ultimately the most important thing when trying to change your body. Benefit number two, and this is one that I tell you guys every time, and I hit on this: more muscle. By focusing on body recomp over weight loss, this means you will add muscle, or at the very least, maintain it in the process. So some benefits of adding muscle. One, you're just going to be stronger overall. That's going to feel good. You're going to be able to do more things from day to day. It's not going to impact you. And obviously, as you age, that's going to be super important. You're going to have a better look. You're going to have a more quote unquote toned look, which again, that's when we go for body recomp, when people reach out to me, they do want to improve their look at the end of the day. That's like the main thing. And so by adding muscle, we're going to have a better look at any given body weight. You're going to have a more toned look at any given body weight. And that's, again, ultimately what people are going for. So super important from that standpoint. It can help manage your blood sugar and insulin resistance. Basically, your body, what this means is your body is going to handle your food that you give it more effectively and efficiently. So muscle can be helpful from that. It helps ensure that your body uses the nutrients that you give it much better. Whereas if you didn't weight train, it's not going to be as effective or efficient with that food. And obviously improve bone health. These are just a few things from a muscle building standpoint that can be of benefit. But again, by focusing on a body recomp, we do place a high priority on the muscle building side of things and not just on scale weight. And this is what it can lead to there. If that definitely a huge reason why a body recomp is more important. Number three, you're going to just feel better overall because you're adding muscle and aren't super restricted with food to see your scale weight go down. You feel better overall during the process. You're going to have energy throughout the day. Yeah, your energy is going to be higher throughout the day, and hunger and cravings won't be super high. And so you won't be food focused as well. And you're just going to feel good, right? If you feel good, you're going to be more likely to stick to it as well, too. This is where focus more on this body recomp, more of what the weight's made up of. This is another kind of added benefit of that versus when you just focus on scale weight. We talked about what can happen there with that. So benefit number four, higher chance of keeping weight off long term. So if you lose muscle in the weight loss process, again, hunger increases and your risk of regaining that lost weight goes up. By losing body fat and maintaining muscle, you have a much easier time keeping the weight off, and fat loss will be easier in the future because you're not just adding in a ton of body fat and you're not losing muscle and then adding a ton of body fat after that. So it's going to be easier. Fat loss is going to be easier in the future, especially if you have that muscle, right? Muscle is very energy costly to build and maintain. And this can be helpful from a weight management standpoint as well too. So again, how many times have maybe you've done this, or you've heard of people who've lost weight and then it comes back right away or over time. So again, by focusing on more of a body recomp, we can ensure that we keep this weight off long term. Number five, improved look at any given body weight. By losing body fat and adding muscle, you will have an improved look at any given body weight, meaning you won't have to lose as much weight as you think, which is always nice, right? We can maybe be at a little bit of a higher body weight and be healthy and look good, right? Which again is great for so many reasons, right? From a metabolic standpoint, you don't have to spend more time fat loss dieting than you think you do. So again, another benefit there is, you just are going to look better at any given body weight, and you may not have to lose as much weight as you think. So I want to go over an example of weight loss focus versus body recomp. So weight loss focus, let's say 1,200 or 1,500 calorie diet or lower to get weight off quick, each equals no flexibility to enjoy life. 1,200, 1,500 calories just goes like that, right? So again, you don't have to go to these extreme calorie amounts. Excessive amounts of workouts focused on fat burning and just burning as many calories as possible equals you feeling beat up and like crap after your workouts, right? So that goes back to you're not feeling great. And again, this is more of a weight loss focus, right? Weight loss focus is like you're going to have higher hunger, lower energy from low calories, and high amounts of cardio-based workouts equals you just feel depleted 24/7. You just don't feel good, right? You just feel like you can't get much in your workouts. Your energy from day day to day is low. You don't want to do anything there with that. Whereas with the body recomp approach, this is what it looks like. It's a sustainable calorie deficit with built-in diet breaks, refeeds from time to time, which equals more flexibility to enjoy life while making progress. We're going to weight train 2 to 4 times per week, focused on progressive overload. We're going to do cardio to improve health and with a specific goal in those sessions. We're not just doing it to try to burn as many calories as possible. We're going to focus on steps for overall movement and overall health. And we're making sure your biofeedback is in a good spot, right? We're looking at your digestion, we're looking at your libido, we're looking at your stress levels. These are all things that are going to be important there with that. That's why I recommend and why I push clients to do a body recomp and why we focus more on what the scale is made up of versus just focusing on a scale. So if you are interested in learning more about body recomp, that's where my free masterclass is for you. So that's what I mentioned earlier. Going to link to that in the show notes. I go over how to set up your calories and macros, what you need to focus on from a sleep perspective, what your training needs to be based around. And again, the link to that is in the show notes. So that's it for this episode. Lastly, before I let you guys go, if you are wondering how to set up your exact macros, which exercises to do, how many days per week to work out. If you commonly have these questions, then my free 30-minute strategy call is for you. And in that call, we talk about your goals, how you can get there, and what you need to do moving forward there with that to reach your goals. So the link to that is in the show notes. And that is it for this episode. I will chat with you next time.